Lots of updates this week, a lot of them really technical, a lot of them that I'm not even going to share, but we do have a lot to share with you, so stay tuned for this week's weekly breakdown coming right up. All right, first up, I'm gonna start with my favorite. This one's interesting to me. I haven't used it yet, but I'm excited to see you guys use it and potentially use it on our side. But basically, it's leveraging conversation AI in the Google Business Profile chat function. So for those of you guys that don't know, if you have a Google Business Profile, you can turn on a live chat function, and your HighLevel account supports an integration where those messages will come into your HighLevel account. Well, now you can actually sync that up with a chatbot and have a chatbot manage those interactions. So most loan officers that I know probably aren't going to include that live chat option in the first place because they're probably afraid of somebody reaching out and then them not, seeing it, responding or whatever. This would be a really cool way to guarantee that you can get at least, maybe program the chatbot to try and get a name, email address, and a phone number or something like that. But you can figure that out. You can play around with that using the chatbot for engaging with Google Business Profile live chats. Let me know if you have any questions on that. I'm really excited to jump into it. Next up, new forms and surveys are live. This is not really new for anybody that's keeping track of this stuff and updating their labs, right? Remember, you can go into settings, go to labs, make sure you turn on most of those functions. I will tell you if there's something that you should not turn on based on our experience with it. And hopefully you'll do the same for the group, right? If you have something enabled in labs and you see, oh, this is messing up, post in the group, let us know. But for right now, just plan, as long as you watch these every week, plan on turning on everything in labs as soon as you see it. And then we'll tell you if there's something that's not working right. But from what we could tell, everything that they roll out in labs, 95% of what they roll out in labs is effective enough to use from the start and an improvement over the existing process right away. So remember, pay attention to labs. Forms and surveys, the new builders are live in labs, are now live and out of labs. So if you have been having these turned on in labs over the last couple months, then you already know about this. But the forms and survey builders both got a major improvement, major uplift, much better as far as your ability to customize, much smoother, much quicker. And then the organization of it just makes way more sense in my opinion. So if you haven't checked that out in a while, check it out, forms or surveys in the builder. All right, next up is an update that probably doesn't affect very many of you, but if you market in multiple time zones, you now have the ability to automatically collect the time zone on the form and survey that you generate a lead from. So you have a form on your website, you have a survey on your website. There's an option now that you can select that says, hey, collect the client's time, collect the visitor's time zone, right? When they submit a submission. And so it will automatically set the time zone at the contact level. And if you didn't know, inside of workflows, you can actually make workflows dependent on the contact's time zone and not your time zone. So in your account, you have a time zone that is your time zone, but if you are managing lead gen across multiple markets or you're marketing in multiple markets across multiple time zones, now you have the ability to, when you collect or generate a lead with a form or a survey, automatically log based on their IP address what time zone they're in and set the contact to that time zone so that when they go through your automations, any of your time windows that you specify are going to be based on their time zone, not yours. Really cool feature. Again, pretty niche-y, not a lot of people that are going to get a benefit out of this, but those who do it will be a huge benefit. All right, next up, just some community updates. Really nothing to talk about if you're not using communities, which most of you guys aren't. The ability to edit comments, a little bit of a change in the notifications when you have new member requests, some things that really, if you're not using communities, means nothing to you. But again, anytime I see communities on my list of new features here, I'm going to share it because we are dabbling in communities more and more. I am very bullish on this communities feature. If those of you guys that are familiar with Mighty Networks, it's definitely something that's going to be competitive with that. But it integrates with everything else that you're using to market your business. So freaking huge. We're excited about it. We are testing it internally. And so this is just another plug saying, hey, check out communities inside of the membership section of your HighLevel account. All right, next up is kind of a head scratcher for me, to be honest with you. And what it is it's an enhanced image editor right? So they had a really basic image editor that they rolled out, I think in the last 6 months, into the accounts with, like, when you're uploading an image into either like a social banner or the media library, social media planner or the media library, you have the ability to make some basic edits to your pictures. Well, now they've overhauled that and are advertising how great, how responsive the editor is, how you can do layers and some features that are like not typical of your embedded image editor inside of a CRM. The reason that's a head scratcher for me is because Canva rules all when it comes to basic image editing, basic graphic design. When it comes to small businesses or individual producers, or really, I mean, honestly, anybody, Canva is amazing. And so when I see HighLevel start to dabble in a feature that I haven't seen them dabble in before, my experience with HighLevel tells me that they have a bigger vision than whatever they're scratching the surface with. And so the head scratching component, to me, I guess that could be viewed more negatively than I meant it. Really what I meant is I'm watching this really closely. I'm very interested to see if HighLevel for some reason has a target on Canva as, hey, we can get 90% of the functionality that people use in Canva inside of a HighLevel account. What the benefits to that would be, I don't know. They obviously, or maybe potentially, have a vision for this that is more than what I can see. But I'm very interested. I'm keeping an eye on it. If you do use the image editor for any reason, please let me know, because I'm very curious. I have no interest in doing it. We use actual image editing software in conjunction with Canva. So I don't really have any interest in diving into it, but I'm curious as to where they're going with this and whether or not it's actually a viable tool. So let me know if you do get a chance to check it out. All right, jumping around a little bit, back to communities for a second. Really cool new feature in communities is now you have the ability to trigger workflows, not only trigger workflows based on an action being taken inside of a community, but also invite people to your community via a workflow. This is new. Again, the way that HighLevel does their development, their tools start like kind of on an island where they're not connected with everything, and then slowly you start to see it integrate more and more with the rest of the system. So to see workflows starting to implement triggers and actions related to communities means that we're really making progress in that sense. So again, just another opportunity to plug communities. Check them out. All right, last up is a labs feature, and it is the ability to verify emails in bulk. So I share this with you guys because with the rise of A2P and all the regulation around text messaging, spam, TCPA, all that stuff, email is making a comeback, right? Email is becoming more and more prevalent again, and more important for you to have in your business, more important for you to take seriously within your business. And so we've been doing a lot of focus internally on improving email deliverability. One of the ways that you can do that is you can make sure that you're sending emails to valid emails. And so the labs section, in labs, you now have the ability to verify emails in bulk. So this means you're able to, import a list, create a smart list out of that list, select all of those, and then as long as you have this feature turned on in labs, you'll have a new option in your little row of actions that allows you to verify those emails in bulk. Now, this does cost money. I would not recommend, uploading a list of 3,000 cold emails and verifying them. You're going to end up spending a couple $100 likely. I think it's like 10 cents an email or something like that. So pay attention to that. But it is a cool feature. It is something that I think a lot of loan officers, especially those that are uploading old lists that they have, or maybe it's not old lists, old client lists, whatever it is, those that are kind of creating their database, rebuilding out their database, you're going to benefit from the ability to verify your emails in bulk before you start sending emails out. So that said, check out the bulk email verification. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, guys, that is it for this week's weekly breakdown. There were a ton of other features that I hid and just did not share with you because they had nothing to do with you as an individual loan officer. So if this felt light, if you have been seeing the updates coming through from Sean, it's because that's us doing you a favor and hiding this stuff that doesn't have anything to do with you from your timeline, ideally, if you're subscribed and watching these weekly breakdowns every week, which you should be. Along with, you should be attending our weekly Zoom room. This week we had a really cool Zoom room, tackled a couple nuanced issues, as well as we dove into the power dialer functionality, and we've done that a couple times, but it's so impactful and so relevant for everybody that I'm willing to do it 100 more times. So if you're curious about the power dialer or other functions inside your HighLevel account that you're not getting the most out of, make sure you show up on Tuesday morning and on our Zoom room. Ask in the group if you don't have the link. It should be in there, but we'll send you an invite directly if you need one. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you at the top.